We are at a turning point as God's people. I spoke recently to a pastor who was expressing consternation with spending so much of her time managing a congregation through the pandemic. A denominational executive, practically in tears, shared how tired he was, how close he was to walking away from it all. Both of these leaders longed to lead in a way that assists people to engage this world that we've never seen before. I am hearing many leaders share this frustration that nothing prepared them for the times that we face. On the one hand, we confront a situation where political, social, economic, and religious institutions that only a short time ago provided meaning and security for us are now inadequate for addressing the challenges that lie before us. This is the disorienting context shaping our attempts to lead congregations. On the other hand, the Spirit is at work in this threadbare moment. The one who declares, "I make all things new," is calling congregations to their ancient roles as healers of life and formers of social thriving in the name of Christ. And many of us are longing for a place to engage this other vision. We are leading in an unprecedented time. In the summer of 2021, after the devastation of Hurricane Ida, the governor of New Jersey made a stunning observation about the systems undergirding the state's sewage and water supplies. He stood amidst houses underwater and he said this, that in the catastrophe, in the flooding, the water and the sewage systems had done exactly what they were designed to do. They worked. The problem, he said, is that they were designed for the needs of 100 years ago. Like the New Jersey water and sewage systems, our institutions and our forms of leadership were never designed for the world that we've entered. Most of the proposals now being offered to help leaders are about how to fix these institutions and how to work them again. But it's not possible to manage and fix this crisis. Managing our way back to some previous normal is killing us. We need a different way of leading in this pivotal moment. The urgent need for this different way of leading is why we are starting the Leadership Project. It is a learning lab for you. The Leadership Project gives you the space to step into practices that can transform how you lead. You will do this by choosing a critical learning goal. Around this learning goal, you will try out practices, reflect on what you're learning with peers, and make adjustments, all in the context of your day-to-day ministry. We have identified 5 critical learning goals that will help you step into a different way of leading, inviting your congregation to participate in God's transformational work in your local context. These learning goals in outline are, first, learn how to continually ground yourself in God's great story of covenant hope. God is present and at work. The unraveling isn't the story. God's refusal to let us go or to leave us to our own ends is at the center of a leader's self-understanding of their vocation. Number 2, learn how to look for God at work in unexpected ways. God does not leave us in a place of lament. Instead, we are invited into a hopeful expectation of what God is doing amongst us. The deliverance God has in store for us may not be in line with what we might think we need. 3, learn how to participate in the life of the neighborhood, discovering what God is doing there. We find God's future by dwelling in the local. The place to be disciples is in our local communities. Number 4, learn how to look for God's kingdom revealed among ordinary, unknown people. God's kingdom is revealed through a bottom-up, outside-in movement among those who, by all our standards of measure, are without claim, power, or authority. And 5, learn how to receive hospitality from your neighbors. Discerning God's activity is about being with people. It is about receiving hospitality more than offering. We believe these are 5 critical learning goals for leaders. We must engage these goals if we are going to participate in God's transforming work in our neighborhoods and in our communities. We are at a turning point as God's people. You can be overwhelmed by the endless fixing, or you can step into new practices and rediscover life and hope where the Spirit of God is at work. God continues to call us as followers of Jesus to participate in the reweaving of our lives together and our communities. Join us in the leadership project and engage this vision. Become a leader who is participating in this bigger story of God's remaking of our world.